and thank you for the opportunity to share with you all our current approach and thinking around how we will codify Microsoft Partner to Partner, or as it is affectionately known as P2P, into a core motion for FY20 and beyond. And so I'm super excited to convey and share with you all where we are today and where we're heading, and have a nice dialogue about how we can provide more value for you and your relationship with Microsoft and its growing partner ecosystem. So I'm Hannibal Scipio. I'm the Worldwide Strategy and Execution Lead for Partner to Partner. Okay, so Microsoft Partner to Partner, or P2P, is a term that's been around for quite some time. And so one of the very first things that I started doing when I stepped into the role was going on a listening tour, listening to partners of various types, various locations, backgrounds, etc., but as well as listening to our field of sellers and partner leads to understand what does P2P mean to them? What is the value that they expect out of P2P? And so this slide here is really intended to level set that P2P is fundamentally about building partnerships, or I like to qualify it, building successful partnerships between any two or more partners where there's mutually beneficial outcomes. And then from these partnerships, helping partners to grow, evolve, and realize better yield or revenue from their budding ecosystems. So we go to the bottom of the screen, the second half. So our mission for Microsoft Partner to Partner is a commitment to help partners to build those successful partnerships and sustain them as well. In essence, to drive digital transformation for themselves and for their customers. And we know that this is a huge opportunity over the coming years. And so how do we help partners work together, better together for themselves and customers, as well as reduce the risk in their cloud journey? As we know, this is a Uber shift in our marketplace or landscape. And so how do we reduce the risk and minimize the risk for those involved who want to take that journey and actually achieve success in new frontiers? So we move to the components piece. Number two, there was three key things that kind of distilled from the myriad of conversations on the listening tour. The first was qualify the community of partners. So the idea of building partnerships is not new. Partners do it today all the time, whether we have a purview into that or not. Where there was excitement and a request of partners was, hey, Microsoft, can you help us, based upon your vast knowledge set, intelligence, and data, to kind of start qualifying some of these partners in advance so we can get a little boost in getting over that trust barrier or trust wall. And so having a qualified community was extraordinarily important to values and was a consistent theme across the board. Second was the ability to make targeted connections. So building partnerships isn't a widespread thing. It really has to be targeted and intentional about the types of partnerships you want, what types of partnerships would drive value, and where those partners are located in their respective abilities. So allowing for that targeted connection. So make it easier for partners to be able to discover each other based upon a myriad of different attributes: geography, specialization, sales force, customer segment, etc. So that was super important to a widespread of partners as well. And then lastly, a collaboration platform. And so all companies have different or varying types of systems and tools. Absolutely fair, makes sense. But it also creates a challenge of how to have a consistent place and space to be able to digitally work together, aside from email, which we know is always fun and classic, but can be a bit of a challenge when we have a growing and active partner ecosystem. So the request was, how can we work together more optimally in a more streamlined fashion with something that is agnostic of our native systems, can integrate with it, but then allows them to communicate and collaborate across company borders. And so that was a really big ask and consistent theme as well. But fundamentally, our approach is that we can start to iterate and build on the V1, V2 of providing value in these three key areas. Partners will be able to forge potentially thousands of connections to grow their opportunity amongst our Microsoft ecosystem. And again, we have 300,000 plus partners and growing. And so a means to be able to identify, have trust, and be able to collaborate with the partners that make the most sense for your business is critical. And so out of that, we believe that there's a myriad of different partner value prompts that's attainable. Before that, I'll surface up to the top is really around one, the ability to innovate new solutions and offerings by working with other partners. 2, accelerating time to market, which is critical, especially in the competitive landscape. 3, creating new channels, new ways of selling your products into new markets or customer bases. And then lastly, 4, growing your joint pipeline. So collectively, because of your partnerships, because of your ecosystem, reaching more customers and growing your revenue is critical. And to the far right, number 5 is some of the early learnings we've acquired in regards to the impact of partners working together successfully. Increase in joint pipeline 3 to 5x, an increase in profitability anywhere from 10 to 20%. And in some cases, we've seen above 20% as well. So there's definitely value in helping partners to build successful partnerships, and that is our goal and our commitment. So the question is, how do we do that? So as we talk about building and supporting partnerships to drive digital transformation, one thing that's really important to us and to partners as well is keeping customers at the center, understanding what is it the customer is trying to do, or what is it that they need. And so we anchor on the customer in key scenarios across our 3 clouds, as well as industry, so Azure, Microsoft 365, which includes Office 365, Dynamics, but understanding the customer market, their asks, their challenges, the key scenarios that's derived as a result of that intelligence. And then from there, being able to break down to, hey, saying these are the type of technical solutions when strung together in a solution value chain and services would deliver or help to deliver on a customer key scenario. So again, anchoring on the customer and then utilizing the network effect or the partner ecosystem to help customers realize the value of what they can accomplish. And so to the far right is a few of the use cases that we've scoped out to help partners to get ready, to be able to discover other partners, make connections, and use those prioritized customer and sales scenarios to generate and drive joint pipeline. And so last on this slide here is really 3 key resources, categorical resources that we're standing up to help partners achieve success. One is around Microsoft Go-to-Market Services. So this is one of our many engines in the marketing organization that partners can leverage around the globe as far as and 24/7 coverage and support of 8 to 11 different languages to help partners be able to utilize those services for enablement as well as demand generation activities. And there's other things that are applicable as well, but these 2 in particular when it comes to our P2P approach. Second is the P2P collaboration platform that I mentioned earlier, and we'll touch on more basis on that momentarily. And then third is providing resource guides, kits, and content and success packs, which is really our way of trying to deliver in a digestible, consumable fashion, a very prescriptive and repeatable knowledge sets and approaches to achieve success as well. So speaking of achieving success, one of the things we realize, and it will be much appreciated by partners, is that having a common framework that can be leveraged to understand the journey of building, sustaining successful partnerships. And so we've distilled, based upon market research and numerous interviews, 3 major categories or 3 major phases. First is getting ready. How does a partner understand if they're ready to build a partnership? Understanding what do they bring to the table in context of business value as far as levers, but also understanding their gaps. And then from there, come up with a plan to determine how to fill those gaps, with respect to partners or partner types or partnerships, and then go to market opportunity that can be tied to that respective solution or opportunity if those gaps were filled by the right type of partners. So then it leads into the second stage, which is connecting. How do I profile the right partners? How do I find them? How do I engage and resonate with them? And then ultimately be able to build a joint agreement or establish that relationship in the rules of engagement. So the connecting piece is really critical. And then the last stage is growing. Once you forge those partnerships, how do you grow together? How do you grow your respective businesses? Tracking pipeline, KPI, having a regular cadence. So those things are also very critical as well to achieving success. So this concept of a common framework or P2P success formula is what we will be debuting next month in a inaugural playbook for P2P partnering success. And in the future sense, it'll be a corresponding series of even more in-depth playbooks as it may relate to a specific partner type or a specific market or a specific workload. So this will be really our umbrella framework to help partners understand how they can achieve success in as prescriptive a manner as possible, and how we can provide much greater enablement for partners to be successful with P2P in our ecosystem. Oh, slight delay there. Okay, so this is our V1 of the journey of 1,000 miles, starting with the first step, and that how we want to help partners to achieve success. We have the framework in place where partners understand what it takes and how to assess, plan, connect, etc. But then how do we qualify partners with the appropriate additional tangible benefits and the corresponding experience to execute? So we start in the top right corner as far as minimum eligibility. We want to distill it down to two partner types at its simplest form. ISVs, who provide applications and intellectual property, and services partners, who could be system integrators, they could be managed service providers, they could be resellers, etc. But fundamentally, we want to make sure that we are inclusive of partners, so that way we can have a enriched ecosystem or subset of the ecosystem of partners who are able and capable of partnering and sustaining those partnerships and creating mutual value for each other. And so as I go to number 2, which is just reflective of the success formula, here are some of the initial benefits that we're creating or resources we're creating for partners to leverage. In the ready phase, we have additional workshops and services courtesy of the GTM services desk that I mentioned previously, as well as additional offline documents and resources that we're creating for partners to be able to view offline at their own pace. In the connect phase, we have the P2P collaboration platform powered by Workspan, which is really cool. And you see a screenshot at the bottom of the screen, which is a centerpiece for allowing partners to discover each other, get solution recommendations, invite partners into engagements or partnerships, define joint sales plans. But if I move on to the growth phase as well, continuing in that same vein of this platform, to be able to manage the joint pipeline, as well as have transparency, accountability, and privacy controls in place, and reporting. So that's really critical, a common place and space for partners to work digitally and do what they are to do today in the wild. And then as well, we have more GTM services to help partners to create demand, generate leads, and then additional resources as well there. And so at the very bottom of the screen, the partner experience is really starting with an updated build partnerships page on the partner website to get the latest information about our approach to helping to build partnerships and collateral around what it would take, including the success playbook. And from there, allowing partners to take that initial assessment to understand where they fall, what's the level of readiness for building partnerships. If they pass, great. We provide them all of the benefits that make sense for P2P, as well as especially inviting them into the platform, the collaboration platform. And if they don't quite make the bar, because one part is to be successful, what are the enablement services we can provide to those partners so they can up-level themselves, so they can be more attractive to brokering partnerships, but also sustaining them as well. And then the centerpiece is really around the collaboration platform. That is where other partners who have met the bar or exceeded it, who are looking for awesome solutions of partners or partners themselves to work with for their customer engagements to find each other as well as be discovered. And so this is what we're piloting today for partners to take advantage of and let us know what we need to tweak, how to create more value as a result of it, but also fill those gaps that we're trying to provide partners with, making it easy to do business with Microsoft, to do business with other Microsoft partners, and collaborating in a P2P digital workspace. So my last slide here is really around what to do next, how to get ready for what's coming down the pipeline when it comes to Microsoft Partner to Partner, which is really centered on helping to build successful partnerships. First, make sure you have confirm your Microsoft Partner Network NPN ID account is active. Second, confirm you have a listing in Azure Marketplace or App Source. That could be a consulting service, it can be an application, it can be transactable, it can be just a pure listing, which is the minimum requirement. Third, we have one of those initial resources available for you that you can download the Partner Preparation Template Bundle, which is a series of different templates on how to position yourself for brokering an introduction with other partners. or how to build out a go-to-market P2P business plan to understand what do you bring to the table and what type of partner you need to target, and any alignment there. And then lastly, and which is what I'm super excited about, is pre-register to join the partner pilot. This is really where we want partners to provide us great feedback in regards to the usefulness and help us iterate and build this platform, this solution with partners and for partners. So on that note, I will just conclude with it. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and if you have any questions, aside from the time we have allotted for the Q&A, you can always reach myself and the team at msp2p@microsoft.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Hannibal. Great presentation. I'm just going to quickly go over to the community and point out a couple of questions that were posted and see if we can address those. And then during that time, if anybody wants to post any questions or comments that came up during the presentation, you can do that into the chat. And we will also have a few moments for you to come off of mute and ask Hannibal any questions if you would like to. So I just want to review quickly. There were several comments and pieces of encouragement that were posted in the community in regards to this session, Hannibal, which I know you had an opportunity to look at. One partner on here asked they're trying to understand their partnership benefits and they want to know who their partner manager is. And so I know that's a question that comes up a lot. Sometimes partners don't have a partner manager, or there are different options for finding out if you're managed partners. Do you have additional advice on how a partner would find this information?
Yeah, a really great question. So what I would say is a couple of things. One, this motion is intended for all partners, not just managed partners per se. So whether you have a partner account manager or partner marketing advisor or some other respective role, this program, this motion will be available to all partners as long as they meet the criteria. In addition to that, one of the things that we're doing to assist, because I know there's certain tools that we have internally that we can access, is that if you do have a dedicated Microsoft role, we will proactively look for that individual as well and bring them onto the platform with you and associate them with your respective profile. So that's also another way for them to be able to assist you in building and sustaining partnerships, but also give another approach as well for identifying who your respective account manager is. But otherwise, I would say a common path for finding out who your partner account manager is, if you engage the cloud enablement desk, they will have the resources and tools to provide that information.
Excellent. And I will post the link to the Cloud Enablement Desk in the chat in just a moment. Looking at the other questions and other comments online, they seem more comments rather than questions. And so I will stop there in terms of pulling off questions from the community, and we'll just invite anyone who is on the call to come off of mute and ask a question that you have for Hannibal or about the program, or any other inquiries you might have in terms of your partnership with Microsoft. Now is a great time, as we have an expert on the phone who's prepared to answer your questions. Okay, it seems like there aren't any additional questions. Hannibal, you just wowed them so much. They have all the information that they need. Um, so again, thank you for taking the time to put this presentation together and to present to this audience. We definitely appreciate it. I know I definitely learned a lot hearing the presentation, seeing the information again is always great. This presentation was recorded, as was mentioned. We are going to have the recording up in Microsoft Partner Community within the next few hours. So if you want to come back and reference the presentation or direct other partners and other colleagues to come and view the presentation, please do so at the AMA page that was posted within Microsoft Partner Community. And with that, if there are no other, oh wait, there's someone asking a question. It says, we are a startup. Will we be able to get into P2P, which I believe, Hannibal, you were addressing as all partners are available to do that. But if you wanted to take that question.
Yes. So as long as you meet the criteria of having an active MPN ID account, as well as having a listing within Azure Marketplace or AppSource, and the third item as an ISV, having received an acceptable score in the readiness assessment, Yes, you absolutely have access to the platform and other P2P related benefits. And I'll just add as well to that. One of our guiding principles, I didn't share it in this respective slide, but one of our guiding principles is to be inclusive of partners of varying types, and to not be too restrictive, because we know that we need uh, partners with varying specializations and various states of their respective business maturity to be present for critical mass, but also want to make sure that they have enough enablement and enlightenment to be successful as well. So inclusivity is one of our guiding principles.
Perfect. Thank you, Hannibal. For everyone who's interested, I just placed the Cloud Enablement Desk information, the link to that on partner.microsoft.com into the chat. So please do check out that resource that Hannibal mentioned earlier. And I do not see any additional questions. And so we'll just do a last call for questions. If anybody wants to come off of mute or write anything in the chat, now is the time. Okay, I see something that says, "Hi all, this is an exciting program. Just completed P2P pilot program application, and we're in the process of getting our marketplace listing up." Excellent. Congratulations, Angela.
Absolutely, that's great news.
Perfect. All right. Well, does it seem like there are any additional questions? Oh, wait, there's one right here. Do we have to have that listing up prior to becoming part of the program?
Yes, so ideally we want the listing to be active because that is also one of the inputs for during the registration process for P2P. What we can do, depending upon the stage you are in for publishing your listing, is to maybe do a case-by-case evaluation and see if we can do some things in parallel.
Perfect. And then there's another question. It says, "Is this the replacement for MPN competencies such as ISV that qualify by marking an application?"
Is this the replacement MPN competencies such as ISV? That's a good question. I would say ISVs will have a slightly different model, which is being managed by another colleague of ours, to share on that respective front. So competencies today are very much service partner centric, which is why it is applicable for them as a criteria. With ISVs is slightly different. And so as more information becomes available around the ISV program, we can share accordingly or pull in our respective colleague who's managing that motion. But we do know that a competency specifically for ISV is not available, which is why we are not making that a criteria for P2P participation.
All right. I don't, yeah, great questions. I don't see any additional questions coming up in the chat. Thank you for those who offered your questions. Again, you can continue this conversation on the AMA thread about building successful partnerships. And we will be back in the community, always available to answer the questions as needed. We have folks that are monitoring those posts constantly, like Andra, who is on the call as well, and other folks that we can make sure to come in and answer any questions. So feel free to use the partner community as a continuation of this conversation and this digital event. Again, I'm Keisha Jackson from the One Commercial Partner Organization at Microsoft. Thank you so much to all the partners and all of the Microsoft folks who were able to join. And a big, big thank you and a virtual clap for Hannibal for his presentation. I appreciate it so much. And with that, we will conclude this Ask Me Anything session and visit the community to find out about future digital events. And thank you all so much. And Andrea, please conclude the recording and post the recording in the community as soon as possible. Thank you so much, everybody.